I have another example for you here. I want you to try and read the text by yourself and then eliminate the choices that have slang and that are too complicated, and you will be able to find the right answer. So pause the video and try to solve this by yourself, please. So pay attention at the language level that is used in this passage. Toward the end of the 1400s, as the Renaissance was reaching its height in Florence, Italy, members of the city's powerful wool guild were celebrating their recently completed city cathedral. We're talking about a cathedral. We're talking about 1400s. We cannot use slang. Slang did not exist in those years, and when describing those years or situations from those old years, we should use a more academic language. Therefore, I'm going to immediately eliminate D because it says wow here, and wow is a slang word. Super is also a slang word, and therefore I'm going to eliminate B as well. Now we're left in between A and C. Florence's reputation from the sophistication and beauty. Sophistication and beauty. Look at those words. Academic word sophistication, which means uniqueness or difference from other things. It was a triumph that added to Florence's reputation from sophistication and beauty, yet the guild members were eager to fancy it up even more, or increase its splendor. To fancy something up. Do you know what it means to fancy something up? This is also slang. It is not a phrase that is used in academic books, or this is not a phrase that is used following standard English conventions, correct English. This is a word where you have fancy, an adjective, and it up means increase the fanciness of something. Fancy it up. When I say, hey, clean your table, I can also say, clean up your table. But to clean something up is a little bit more complicated than to clean something when we talk about language, because it's unnecessary to say clean it up, right? Basically speaking, by using slang here, they are complicating a phrase that could be presented a little bit simpler. Fancy it up even more, or increase its splendor. Which one of these sounds more academic? We know simplicity is important, and we also know that slang is to be avoided. So C is the correct answer. To increase the splendor of something is to make something more beautiful. That comes from the word splendor, which means beauty, and splendid means beautiful in English language. Write it down if you didn't know it before. So we have covered the rule that slang is not preferred in this case. So I was able to eliminate D and B very simply and fast. And we have already talked about simplicity. And I would like to mention it again and add it as an additional rule for you. Prefer simple answers over longer, complicated answers, especially if some answers have unnecessary words like fancy it up even more. Instead of saying make it fancier, you're saying fancy it up even more. That's very complicated. That's not good. So prefer simple answers. If an answer is too complicated, it's not necessary to pick it. You have to understand that complicated, unnecessarily long answers on the SAT are most of the times wrong. If you had a question like this on the exam and you had these choices, then you would have to pick the simplest answer. Take a look. Do homework by doing it. That's unnecessary. I already understand somebody's doing homework. By doing it is an unnecessary part of this answer. Do the action of doing homework. Why not just do homework? Why do the action of doing homework? Like, it's unnecessary. Again, you're using unnecessary words here. And then make the homework ready by doing it. That means do the homework. So when I say keep it simple, I mean don't add unnecessary information in your answer. This stuff is unnecessary. This is also unnecessary. So you should understand, simpler answers are grammatically more correct. Therefore, try to avoid long answers that have many verbs. I understand if you're just a beginner in English language and you want to achieve a really good score on the SAT, you may think picking the answers with the most words is smarter because they sound more complicated, and SAT is already complicated, so that's good. I'm picking the choice according to complicated language, but that's not good. Why? Because that's a very important rule of writing.